A story went viral recently. A man who had been falsely accused of rape, a case that had dragged on for years, decided to withdraw his lawsuit against the woman who accused him. His reason: she asked for forgiveness, and he said he forgave her. The internet exploded. Some people called him weak, some called him a true Christian. Some lawyers even posted things like, "We didn't spend 6 years studying law for clients to withdraw cases out of forgiveness. Weak clients, please avoid me." And the comment kept going. False accusations destroy lives. Forgiveness doesn't mean the absence of justice. You have to forgive as a Christian. Mercy without accountability is dangerous. And watching all of this unfold raises a deep question. Where exactly do we draw the line between forgiveness and justice? There's a tension here that humanity has wrestled with for centuries. Forgiveness and justice are often treated like opposites, but they are not. Forgiveness is personal, justice is societal. Forgiveness is about what happens inside the heart of the victim. Justice is about what happens inside the structure of society. One deals with healing, the other deals with accountability. And when those two collide, things get messy. Many of the people who were outraged weren't necessarily against forgiveness. They were worried about consequences because false accusations, especially accusations as serious as rape, can destroy lives. Reputation collapses overnight. People lose jobs. Families break apart. Some people even take their own lives after false allegations. So when someone withdraws a case like that, some people see it as removing a deterrent. Their fear is simple. If there are no consequences, what stops the next person from doing the same thing? From that perspective, justice isn't just about the victim anymore, it is about protecting society. But then there are those who saw the man's decision differently. They said, he was the victim. If anyone had the right to decide what happens next, it's him. Maybe he didn't want to spend more years in court. Maybe he wanted peace. Maybe he simply chose to release the anger and move on with his life. And from that perspective, forgiveness is not weakness, it is strength. Because bitterness can imprison the victim just as much as the crime itself. But then the Christian argument enters the conversation, and Christians often say things like, you have to forgive. And yes, forgiveness sits at the very center of Christian teaching. But what often gets lost in the conversation is that Christianity never erased justice. It actually separates roles. Forgiveness belongs to the individual, justice belongs to society. A person can forgive someone in their heart and still believe that the legal system should handle the consequences. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. You can release hatred without removing accountability. There's another reason people react strongly to stories like this, because history has shown us what happens when forgiveness is misused. There have been churches that forgive abusers instead of reporting them, families that pressured victims to forgive in order to keep the peace, communities that prioritize mercy over protection. And when forgiveness is used that way, it stops healing. It becomes enabling. And that's why some people say forgiveness should never become a shield that protects wrongdoing. But there's another truth. At the same time, there is something else we have to acknowledge. Sometimes the pursuit of justice keeps the victim trapped in the trauma. Court cases can take years. Appeals can stretch on even longer. And every hearing forces the victims to relive the event again and again. For some people, the path to healing is not punishment, it is closure. Walking away may not be surrender, it may simply be survival. So where do we draw the line? The truth is, there isn't a universal line, because forgiveness is deeply personal and justice is deeply societal. The tension between the two will always exist. But maybe the healthiest understanding is this. Forgiveness deals with the heart. Justice deals with consequences. One heals the victim, the other protects the community. And ideally, a healthy society finds a way to hold both. What struck me most about the story isn't whether the man was right or wrong. It's how quickly people rush to judge his decision. But trauma is personal, healing is personal, and the person carrying the burden is often the one who truly understands the cost of continuing the fight. Maybe the bigger question isn't whether he was weak. Maybe the bigger question is this. Are we asking the victim to pursue justice for their healing or for our sense of moral satisfaction? Because sometimes the two are not the same. And navigating the tension between justice and mercy has always been one of the hardest parts of being human. This is what has an agenda where faith, culture, and real life collide. Because sometimes the deepest questions aren't about who is right, they're about what it actually means to live out the values we claim to believe. Until next time.